So what are we making today?
So I'm going to make something really simple. Simple, delicious. Something that is unintimidating. And something that, once it's made, as it sits in the fridge, just gets better and better. So it's a basic sort of wonderful white bean vegetarian soup. And it's not the kind of white beans that you need to sort of soak for like 24 hours. We're using butter beans, canned. We're using a chicken stock. It can be easily turned around and be 100% vegetarian. This actual dish can be made with water, providing the stunning ingredients. Start off with fantastic celery, garlic, leeks, tomatoes, and then finish with this amazing feta, just to crumble on top. So it sort of helps to season it as well. It's almost like a sort of Greek minestrone, but done in a very quick fashion.
And where's the recipe from?
The recipe's from World Kitchen. We've just got the most amazing book put together with the best of Greece, the best of France, the best of Italy, the best of Britain, the best of America, the best of Japanese, the best of Chinese. So we've gone for sort of the best 20 recipes across each country. And it's the idea behind the sort of, I suppose, the spine of the new series, finding the best local restaurants.
And how did you decide which recipes to put in the book from around the world?
Joe, we could have had 500 recipes in the book. So I suppose what we wanted to do was start off with what was featured on all the menus and what was the most common. Do you know what I mean? From the Indian to the most amazing samosas to the most amazing tikkas to authentic but easy approachable.
So it's all designed to be stuff that you can do kind of whether you've got any skills particularly or not?
It's stuff designed around, I suppose, not just the easiness, but straightforward, uncomplicated cooking. So I'm going to quickly sweat off the onions. So generous with the olive oil, sweat it down with the celery, onions, leeks. Everyone puts the leeks in last, but to cook a leek properly, it needs to go in there first, like celery and leek. You know, they do take a long time to cook. But the secret now here is giving them a little bit of colour, sort of roast them off. A little bit of rosemary in there. If you haven't got rosemary, thyme is just as exciting. We call them winter herbs because they're not soft herbs. They're autumnal, they're flavoursome, and they give a really good kick to the soup. Sweat off the celery, the onions, and the leeks, and then put the carrots in. The nice thing about this soup, there's no formula. It can be done without carrots. If you've got a swede, if you've got a turnip. Turnip gives the soup a really nice depth of flavour. Swede helps to thicken it in a way that it's a nice substitute for rice or lentils.
So any root vegetable would work? Or?
Any root vegetable. You know, God, you think of how many restaurants don't serve swedes on menus. Oh my God, a swede puree is something we started off seeing in school, and then you forgot about it because it wasn't glamorous. Along comes, you know, baby vegetables, and I think there's a fascination with chefs with baby carrots, baby fennel. They look great, but they taste of nothing. I quite like baby vegetables, but used in an amazing salad, something that doesn't need to be cooked for a long time, but trying to cook these vegetables for 20 minutes at a time doesn't hold it. We're sweating these things down.
And would you, if you had swede or turnip in, would you treat them in exactly the same way as you are the carrots?
I'd do it with like a potato, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And just dice it up, peel it and dice it. I've never done a book with such a cross-sector of multi sort of exciting cuisines in there. So you've got a varied choice as well, which is lovely.
Do you think you can mix them together? Do you think you could do a dessert from one side and a main course from somewhere else?
It's a good question. Can you mix them together? Yeah. What's happened over the last 12 months in the industry currently today is that we've got rid of the snob factor. The formalities of fine dining has relaxed. Customers are now king more than ever before, and we got rid of that arrogance. So all these little do's and don'ts that chefs get up their own arse with have gone. So yeah, start off with an amazing simple pasta dish, go on to the most amazing Chinese main course, yeah, and finish with a great English dessert. That's the whole exciting idea about World Kitchen in terms of there's nothing complex in there. We've got that diversity, but there's nothing intimidating. Got a really nice colour on all these vegetables now. I mean, really nice colour. It's laced with lots of olive oil, so it's really nice and sort of rich and an amazing sort of grassy flavour. A little tablespoon of tomato puree, and that's basically just to give the soup a little bit of depth. So roast that off. If you quickly cook the tomato puree off, it gets rid of that sort of tart tannin flavour that puree leaves. So it's almost like a sort of tomato concentrate. You've got to really cook it out before you put the stock in. If you had the stock without cooking out the puree, got a sort of a tart, tame flavour. Roast it off.
And then, are you letting the garlic go brown as well?
Yeah, we're browning everything off now, because once the stock goes in there, it washes everything off. So it's really important to turn the gas up, get some confidence in the pan in a way that it really cooks it out. The celery's nicely coloured, onions have disintegrated, rosemary's made the soup really nice and fragrant. Now I've got that nice colour there, look. Carrots are colouring beautifully. The puree has sort of disintegrated. Now we've got that roast tomato flavour there. Now from there, our beans in, butter beans. Just rinse them under a little bit of warm water. That gets rid of the sort of fur around the outside. Beans in. Now I need the beans to absorb all those tomatoes. All that flavour of the tomato at the bottom as well. There's no red wine, there's no white wine, there's nothing like that in there at all. I'm just sauteing and really heavily roasting. I want the beans to absorb the tomato puree. And then from there, our fresh tomatoes in. The idea again is the sort of the combination between the tomato puree, the fresh tomatoes. You won't identify now, after roasting that tomato puree, that there's actually puree in there, because the fresh tomatoes will overtake that now. Got the colour in there now. And now I'm going to quickly just turn down the gas and add the stock. Up to the boil as quick as you can.
And do you reckon these fresh stocks you can buy now are as good as making your own?
Do you know what? In terms of making your own, the best thing to do is to have a couple of containers in the freezer, ice cream containers, and every time you've got chicken wings, lamb bones, fill them up. No point in making a good stock until you've got a really nice sort of quantity of bones. Making a stock with a couple of chicken bones is irrelevant. You've got no flavour, especially when you can buy stock as good as this.
And would you only do this with chicken or vegetable stock? Could you do it with like a beef stock or anything?
You could do it with beef stock. This is a basic vegetable butter bean soup. Slipping tiger prawns in there at the end. Making the soup with fish stock, just as good. Easy, diverse.
And would you do it with beans and the prawns? Could you mix the two together?
Absolute definite, without a doubt, especially for the winter. Summer, no. Winter, yeah, definitely. It's always important, the minute it comes up to the boil, correct the seasoning, because now, the next 10 minutes, the process of this, it has to be seasoned perfectly. Once that comes up to the boil, give that a little skim. And that's just a little bit of sort of leftover from the beans, the fur. Don't boil that into the soup, give it a little skim.
Is that for reasons of taste or appearance?
Taste, and also both taste and appearance. If you let that sort of boil through the soup, then it leaves a horrible sort of greyness across the soup. I want that nice dark, rich, ruby red. Some flat leaf parsley. That gives it that really nice sort of earthy sort of freshness. And so every time you reheat this, to sort of wake it up again when you come to serve it, rather than just reheating it slowly. Finish with a little bit of flat leaf parsley. Just crunch it up into a nice little bunch and just slice through it once. So you've got it chopped and full of flavour. Parsley on. And then from there, turn the gas off. And this is where it gets really exciting. Small amounts of seasoning at the beginning with the vegetables, and then just finished off with our feta. Feta cheese just gives it that really nice sort of salty texture flavour, and makes the soup a little bit more creamier as well. If you're not a big lover of feta, Parmesan is nice, as a nice alternative. So when you come to serve, just in, get your vegetables, tilt the ladle so the stock drains down. I want 2/3 content and 1/3 stock. I don't want a runny soup, I want it quite substantial. I'm just going to sprinkle a little more fresh feta cheese on top. And then really to sort of home in on that amazing earthy flavour, just a little touch of olive oil on top. And there you go, the most amazing white bean vegetable soup finished with feta. Delicious.